everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Joy Evans.
Today we're taking a look at Caral, the deluxe edition, I guess, from Fun Tales. And this is a game from Klaus-Jürgen Reid, who most people probably know for designing Carcassonne.
Okay, yep.
Or Downfall of Pompeii. Those are his two most popular games.
Right.
Yeah, that brings me in. I'm interested in that. The whole idea of building ziggurats and pyramid type things, that's also interesting.
It is.
So let's see how the game plays, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so we are set up for a 3-player game of Caral right now. Now, again, this is going to be a very simple overview just to kind of give you the feel of the game. So this is not a full rules explanation. So if you're one of those are elsewhere, and take a look at the manual. But this is going to be a simple how this game plays. Pretty much, this is going to be, you're going to become a famous master builder of Caral by building pyramids, sacrificing to the gods, and accumulating more fame than your competitors through various actions. So, what is going to happen is the end game is triggered by 7 pyramids being built, and it is victory points, which are this track right over here, or fame points. So once 7 of these are built, and the center pyramid is built, the end game will be triggered. Now, the center pyramid here gets built at different points. As the second pyramid gets built, you're going to throw a top on that, then 4, then 6, and 7, and it's going to keep getting built higher and higher until it's finished, okay? So it is done through a series of years. First off, we have everyone sitting here, and you have got, this is the architect. Now, over here you've got different action spaces. It's a pretty simple game, actually. And off the board here, you're going to see these are corrals, these are your workers. Up here you've got stones, they're off the board, but you can see them right here. And then right down here we've got alpacas. Now these are going to help with movement. And I'll go into what each of these means. So first off, you're going to roll the architect die, the master builder will, and he can move 1 or 2. He only stops on action spaces. So 1 or 2, tell you what, he's going to move 1. Now, why do you want to move him less? Well, the big thing about this guy is you are going to move after that. If you are here, you cannot do that action. You can only do actions if you're at where he is or in front. Okay, so we're going to say we're going to just move him 1. We're going to move him there. Now, your movement is going to be denoted on this sled here. See these alpacas? The more of these you have, the faster you can move. I now have 1. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward. And this right here allows me to put workers on there. Now, where can I put workers? Now, I could put workers in one of the quarries. So if I decided to do, let's see here, it'd actually be blue. If I decided to put a worker in this quarry, if I ever stop on this action space and I get, or this action space here, and I get stone, I now get 2 stones, 1 for each worker in that quarry. All right? Or I can put him somewhere else around here, and then I'm going to get ready to build a pyramid in this area. All right? And then let's go through what each of these means. So that is going to be place a worker. You can place one, like I said, in the rock quarry. You can do one as a builder. And then later you can do one as a priest, and that is to put one on the top of your 5-level pyramid. Also, you've got, here we go, this is going to be to get some stones out of the quarry. These are to get 2 resource cards, which you do start with resource cards in your hands, which are right here. And they do different things. At the end of the year, you're going to give up these cards as sacrifices to get victory points at the annual ceremony. But also they can be traded for different things. These right here can be traded to build more of the pyramid. You can move for movement, or you can do the action again. So these can be traded for different purposes. And these are how you get those resource cards. Here you get to get an alpaca. If you stop here, you get to take an alpaca, put it on here, and if I were to put it here, all of a sudden now I can move 5 spaces instead of 4. So I'm going to go a lot faster. And then here again, you're gonna cycle this around. This whole thing is a spiral. So you're gonna hit different actions, but the same actions as you go into the middle. And he is always gonna be going ahead of you. So you're gonna roll this die. Everyone's gonna go in order. And then you're gonna keep going with him around until he gets to the middle, and that is the annual ceremony. And also whoever gets there first is going to be first player or master builder for the next round. Now, when you get to the center, you are going to do what is called the annual ceremony. And this annual ceremony is whenever you're going to give up these resource cards in your hand. And the first person is going to put one down, and somebody else has to put a different resource down. And if nobody puts one down, if somebody does not put one down, they're going to lose a fame point. And you can also gain fame points, and the person who puts the most resources down gets the most favor for the gods, so they go up the highest. So that is the annual ceremony. You're going to keep going through that. Now, let's go a bit more into the building. So that's a general way of how to move. Now, as you move, as these guys are going to move, notice they're going to go like if he's, say he wants to move, he has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? He can move all that way if he wants to. However, say you're going to go, every time you go past this, this is going to count towards your movement. So if we're going to go ahead and put this guy here. Later, say he has built there. All right? So the movement would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice, so as more pyramids are being built, you're going to slow down a bit. So that's why getting these alpacas, making yourself faster is beneficial. But also, so say you did place a worker over here through this action here. And this guy is going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3. Going to stop here. And then we're going to get rid of one of your stones to then build the pyramid. And you can start either a 5-level pyramid or a 3-level pyramid, whichever size you want to do. You're going to do that. And then also you can go ahead and give up resources. For instance, these two right here, if I were to give up these resources here and another stone, if I had one, then I could then build a 2nd level to my pyramid. All right? And then you're going to keep going around. So you're going to keep doing that as you build pyramids and pyramids, and you're going to slowly start building until you have 7 pyramids, like it says right here. And you're going to get victory points for those pyramids. The victory points of the pyramid depend on when it was built. So the first one's going to get 3, the second one 3, third one 2, 2. So they go different areas like that as far as you're building the pyramids. So you want to build them earlier and get them up. But like I mentioned before, as the second one is built, you're going to go ahead and place this on here. And then when the 4th one is going to go here. And then the 6th one here. And the 7th one right here. So this entire time, all of these are being built as you travel around the board. And every time you get to the center, you're going to do the annual ceremony, and you're going to get victory points like that. So at the end, after the 7th is built, and you've got the final year, you're going to then get different points. You're going to get 2 fame points for each of the priests that you placed on top of your pyramids. And also, you're going to get 5 fame points for every 3-level pyramid and 10 fame points for each 5-level pyramids. And all the unfinished pyramids, you get 1 fame point per level built. So it is pretty much victory points moving around here, using these action spaces to get pyramids built and to build that middle up as you go. And then after all 7 are done, you are going to do the final year, final count, and count up your fame points and see who is the most famous builder in Caral. All right, so that is the game. Let's see what we thought about it.
All right. Joey's explanation, even though I have not even bothered to look at it,
It's perfect.
has got to be better than the rule book. Not a good rule book
No.
at all. Especially since the rules, it has you move around in this circle of spaces
Like a
and
spiral.
then shows you no examples of that, and it's a really big deal.
It is. And it's just, you have to go back and forth in the rule book. I don't know what it is, but it's just, it took a while. Because the game is simple. It should have been very straightforward, because when you're playing, you're like, this is it. But the rule book jumps around everywhere.
Well, then there's all those modules and all this extra stuff. So I am concerned with this game in the sense of, so this is one of those games that when I read it,
Yeah.
the rules, I was like, I love this concept. I like the idea of moving and stuff. But a few things bothered me about it. One is the movement of the guy who's kind of pushing you all.
The architect?
Architect.
Yeah.
I don't find that to be interesting. All
Right.
the architect does is push you forward. When you put out your buildings, and as you put out your ziggurats that you're building along the way, where you put them, I guess there's strategy to that, but it doesn't really change from game to game. And so my biggest knock against this game is every time you play this game, it's the same, you're playing it the same way. There's no real change. The way the guy moves is the same. There's no different setup. The points are the same. And the game itself is too small to offer like no one's writing strategy guides on this game.
Right. And the biggest thing is, my biggest problem with games in general, if they have this thing where you really don't have that many branches in your decision making. This is pretty much, he moves so slowly, he moves 0, 1, or 2. I mean, you're pretty much going to have just limited options going forward, unless a build option is being thrown in there every once in a while. And it's just the choices are so limited the entire game. And it's every year is like that.
This is much bigger than the game.
Yeah.
By the way, notice this lid doesn't fit on the box.
I've tried, it just doesn't. The insert is brutally bad on this one, too.
The pieces are kind of cool.
The pieces are nice. They fit together well. That centerpiece, it's another one that looks good on the table. You know, when you build those tables, there's something, it's rewarding to go ahead and start building those. And normally you'll go for the 5-level pyramid instead of the 3, just because not very many people ever want to do the 3 unless you want to finish the game.
It is like near the end of the game. That's when you're putting together the 3s.
Right.
But the 5s not only give you more points, but they give you the thing on top. I'm also concerned with this game, and you know, this is where the fans of the game, all 3 of them, will come in the comments and say, you know, that we don't know what we're talking about. But I feel like you can rush to the middle. There's some benefits to
Yes.
rushing to the middle. Right? There's definite benefits of rushing into the middle as fast as you can, and you ruin everyone else's plans. And I have a problem with that kind of play, because if someone rushes to the middle, which they can do, you can speed up and just keep rushing to the middle. You can get some decent points doing that, and you ruin everyone else's fun. Right. I'm sitting there like, ooh, I'm going to do some cool things. Oh, we're resetting. Okay, hang on. Now I'll do some. Oh, we're resetting again. I'm not going to point at anyone in the room who might have pushed that strategy.
Well, it is a strategy because the whole thing is you can move past their build site every time if you're the main architect, I think they call it, where you get to move past every time. I'm not going to let you build. And that does get annoying.
It's kind of interaction, but not interesting interaction.
No.
It's like, ha, 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 ha. It's like the part of K-List that no one likes, moving the whatever the guy's name is. It's like that, but without the interesting stuff that's going on in K-List. Here
Right.
it's, do you increase your speed? Do you build? Do you increase your production? And then the
Yes.
sets of cards, which are okay, but that whole card concept of playing something other people did, that's my least favorite part of the game, and it's worth a lot of points.
Yeah, it almost doesn't make. Are you talking about the end of the year or the actual
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
overall?
saying. You grab some cards, rush to the end, you get more points than anyone else.
It does. The whole card thing just didn't make sense in the whole feeling of the game, whether or not it's the discarding pairs or...
Yeah,
It's-
pairs for move twice, do extra
No.
actions, and then you can pay one to move extra.
Yeah, and the fish, you get to do the action again, or the alpaca, you get to move. That just, it didn't make any sense. It seemed fiddly, and then at the end, the altar thing, the card thing just baffled me on why. And then the extra movement was very rare you'll ever need that, because you can get up to like moving 7. Because there are many times where you don't have anything to do, you're like, I guess I'll grab an alpaca. I don't need to move faster, but that's just what I'll do.
You might get it early in the game because once you move faster again,
It does.
near the end, it matters. Once a few pyramids have been built, the points there for offering up cards is pretty powerful.
It is.
This game is one of those games that I think a lot of people will enjoy once.
Right.
I think play 2, you're playing the exact same game, and people be like, what about the modules? I have not played with any of them, so you can tell me they're better, but if they're that amazing, they should have been included in the base game.
Agreed.
But I went over all of them, and they had more randomness and stuff, which doesn't seem that interesting to me. I'm giving this a 5. I wanted to give it higher, but I can't rate it based on the very first game experience, because it was fine. My first game experience was almost a 7, almost. But it gets lowered after that because I want to do
same.
something interesting. I'm like, ooh, what will I do this game? Maybe this time I'll build pyramids. But next game, I might build pyramids. There's just not a lot of other stuff to do. I'm like, maybe this time I'll put 2 bricks on the bottom area instead of the top. I don't find those decisions interesting. And if it was a small little game, I'd give that more leeway.
Right.
But with how big and grandiose this is, it doesn't deserve to be this big and grandiose.
No, and I will. Okay, the thing is, I hesitated with this because I'm like, this feels like a family weight game, but it's not marketed that way. I expected a lot heavier of a game when I went into this, and it just let me down. And honestly, halfway through the game, people are kind of like, I get it, I get it. This is almost a definition of vanilla for me. So I will come in a little bit higher, but I give it a 5.5 on that, just because the components are nice. It's a family weight
Except
game.
the inserts and the rules.
What's that?
Except the insert and the rules.
Yeah, I don't know why they skimped on those. But again, even a family would get confused and I think bored with it. But yeah, I wanted to like this a lot more because it looks great, the idea is great, the theme is great, but it just fell flat. It was just fine.
Well, there you go, folks. That's Caral. I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Joey Evans.
And we're riding llamas.
And building pyramids.